5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now live.
89.5 WSKB. Live from the campus of Westfield State University, this is 89.5 FM, WSKB, Westfield. Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by Westfield Bank. For more than 160 years, Westfield Bank has been an important community presence and commercial leader in the Pioneer Valley. With convenient full banking services in Westfield, West Springfield, East Longmeadow, Agawam, Feeding Hills, Springfield, Southwick, as well as Enfield and Granby, Connecticut, visit us on the web at westfieldbank.org.
Good morning, Westfield. It is 6:01. You're listening to WSKB 89.5 FM radio for the Westfield masses. It is Wednesday, December 4th. My name is Tina Gorman. I'm your Wake Up Wednesday host, and I'm joined this morning by Pete Coles behind the board, behind the glass. How you doing this morning, Pete?
Not too bad.
Not too bad.
Just getting everything running on a cold morning.
I know. Are you? Well, it's about 30 degrees out. It's not terrible, and it's not going to get all that much warmer. It's supposed to be mid-30s this morning, so
get a little melting in.
Yeah, hopefully, if the sun comes out, they're calling for clouds. But I'm hoping that the sun will come out at least for a bit.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
That would be good.
That'd be helpful.
So
after 36 hours of snow.
Absolutely. Are you all dug out over there, P, at your place?
Yeah, the plow guy. My landlord hires a plow guy, so he came by yesterday. We still got. It's a new guy, so I got to teach him how to do the driveway properly because he never got a chance to see it dry.
Got it.
So that's a work in progress, but we got plowed out. My girlfriend's car got stuck yesterday, and she had to come get picked up by her job. Luckily, it's not too far away, so they came by and snagged her because they really needed the help.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, she's up at Armbrook Village.
Right.
With our good friend Beth Cardillo, who we had on the show last week.
Right. So on a snow day, she stays at my house because it's just a heck of a lot easier.
Right. It's so close. Yeah, absolutely.
If there's a problem, then they can come get her. So
yeah, absolutely.
It works out really well.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Well, we are. I'm back and forth, and you'll have to excuse me. I'm kind of on my phone a little bit, but we have the senior center parking lot is half plowed.
Okay.
So don't know exactly what happened. And it's been half plowed since yesterday morning. And the part that's plowed is wonderful, and it all melted. It's nice and dry. And that's actually the part closer to the building. So that's great. But we still are down.
Oh, they didn't get the second half?
Yeah, they haven't gotten back. And I texted DPW yesterday afternoon just to kind of, give a gentle reminder and say, listen, I'm not pushing. And I don't know what their schedule is, but I reminded them that we open at 8:30.
Yeah.
So I just texted again this morning because I stopped by the senior center as I normally do on my way into the radio station, and not knowing whether it would have been done during the night, but it was not. So I just wanted to get a jump start on that. So
their crews get in at 7, so I know that.
Yeah.
So they'll probably head over early.
We'll see. I let them know we start at 8:30, and I'm down about half of my parking spaces, which is more than 50 spaces. So we need to get that done. But anyway, just heard from the acting mayor. Acting Mayor Figgy is on it and will keep me posted. So
there you go.
Hopefully all will be well by the time we open up. During this long snowy weekend, at some point, we did come out with our Voice of Experience newsletter. However, of course, it didn't hit the streets yet because my deliverers, Barbara Coleman and my sister-in-law, Donna Schaefer, were kind of snowed in for a couple of days. So hopefully they will get those out. Carol Shannon, our principal clerk, was in yesterday, so she mailed a bunch out and got everything ready for Donna and Barbara, so hopefully they'll get those out this morning. But we do have copies of the December Voice of Experience newsletter at the Senior Center, and hopefully they will be distributed throughout the city later on today.
Edition post yet?
Yes, the digital edition has been posted. I actually posted that Sunday. I had that posted on Sunday, knowing that, So Sunday morning I was busy. Yes, I was busy texting Kevin Barry and Lenore saying, please get this up. It's really important that we get this up early this month. So those of you who like to get it online or who don't realize that you can get it online, if you go into the city website, the cityofwestfield.org, under departments, go to Council on Aging. If you click on Council on Aging and then just scroll down, you'll see kind of a picture of the newsletter. Just click that on and you'll get the latest edition. So Kevin had it up there by Sunday afternoon, which was really wonderful. Thank you, Kevin.
Nice little thing to do from home on a snow day.
It is. Well, I was actually doing it from the Senior Center on a snow day, but Kevin, I think, got that done for me, and I really appreciated that. Yeah, I was in there first thing Sunday morning, just sort of trying to make sure everything was all set, button down the hatches. Alex Hibbert, our building maintenance craftsman, was in there preparing, making sure we had gas in the snowblower and, all kinds of other good things. So
the stuff you need.
The stuff we need, and I absolutely appreciate staff who like to plan ahead. So that was really great. So, so we're just all busy digging out. But, it's funny. I have most of my relatives do not live in New England. None of my relatives live in New England, but my family's kind of all over the state. So I have my sister-in-law and brother down in Tennessee, and their daughter, my niece, is in Shreveport, Louisiana. And then I have another niece in Maryland, and my brother and sister-in-law are snowbirds from Maine, and they go to Maryland during the winter to be near their daughter. So I was texting everyone the pictures saying that we certainly are in the Christmas spirit here in New England, and I was getting lots of of texts back about how, it's so beautiful, and we're so jealous, and send us more pictures.
It's great if you don't have to go anywhere.
I know. And you know what? It is absolutely, yesterday morning, Pete, it was gorgeous, and they kept saying, send pictures, and I said, I can't until Gary finishes snow blowing the driveway because I can't really get out of the house. I mean, you need hip boots to get out there. But I did get some lovely pictures.
Almost 20 inches total. I think we got about 6 to 8 the first round and almost a foot the second round.
Yeah, well, that's what, Gary said that yesterday morning when I said to him, you know what? I said, the schools are closed again. I said, Gary, we got a lot more snow. And when he came in yesterday morning, he said, I think we got more the second go-round than the first go-round.
Yeah.
Did we? Yeah, I'm
did.
not surprised at that at all.
Because I shoveled it twice, and there was more. The first round was heavy wet snow.
Yes.
Which probably more actual water volume in it.
Yep.
But the second round was light snow because it got real cold. It got it down in the mid-20s.
Yeah, that's what
and
they
that
said.
became the light, fluffy stuff, and that was easy. I wasn't gonna shovel yesterday because I was running a little late, but I said, "Wow, this is pretty light snow. I'm gonna shovel this," and it was wet real quick. So
yeah, it was. I think part of the trick of this storm was trying to know when to shovel, and because I know Gary had, and I think a lot of people had sort of done it. Sometime on Sunday, I'm losing track of my days. Or
midday
Monday,
Sunday,
whatever it was.
midday Sunday,
right? And then ended up.
I did it early Monday morning, and it got like another 1/10 of an inch or something, but that wasn't enough to shovel it again.
So I think we're all messed up because between a couple days off for Thanksgiving and then two snow.
Well, we were here yesterday.
I know you were. I was listening. I heard Bob called in, so I heard all about Bob's turkey dinner.
Yeah, Bob called in. Jay called in.
Was Jake?
No, Jay was here,
was here.
and then Mark Auerbach called in.
Yes, Mark called in.
And then we had Kenny showed up. Kathy sort of made it in. She got stuck in the
heard sort of the end of their show. And did they were interviewing someone who's on the tour of homes? Is that right? Is that right? Yeah.
They had.
I kind of came into the middle of it, so.
They had the Westfield News Hour, so they had what's her name? I'm blanking right now.
That's okay. It's all right. You'll come up with it.
Oh, jeez.
But somebody who's
the editor of the Westfield News.
Oh,
The current
Hope?
editor, Hope, yes.
Hope Tremblay.
Hope was here, yes.
Oh,
See,
okay.
I'm blanking.
There you go.
It's
I know,
it's
Pete.
been a long week.
It has been a long.
I have to
week.
go to Hartford Stage today to tape a couple of Arts Beat radios.
Oh,
So it
but that'll be
slow
fun.
down.
No, I know it doesn't slow down. It is. We are in the throes of the holidays, Pete. So it does not slow down.
But we also had during Kenny's show we had a building alarm, and the police.
Really?
I had to walk through with the police.
Lord
to,
have
to
mercy.
find the building.
Was
alarm.
everything? Oh
Oh,
my.
yeah, everything was fine. I think it was a mouse over in auto body that decided to run through the motion alarms.
I think they had. Didn't they have that at the White House or at the Capitol
don't
about
know.
6 months ago? They had them out. They saw it. They could see it. Nobody could catch it.
Yeah, well, this one just set off the alarm because I heard it when I went to the bathroom in the shop because we disarm our zone here.
Yep.
And we don't disarm the whole building, just this zone.
Yep.
So we don't go out to the hallways. We don't go out. We don't go nowhere.
Right. Oh,
And I'm
that's
like,
funny.
yeah, there's an alarm going off in the panel next door in the custodian's room. And sure enough, an officer shows up.
Yep. There it is.
Guess what? I'm walking with him, and Kenny's filling the time.
There
Hey,
it
Kenny,
is.
stay on the air.
Exactly. The building can be burning around us, but please stay on the air.
Fire alarm's different. We bug out for a
Yeah,
fire alarm. I don't
exactly.
take
Oh, so
any
this
chances.
was. So what kind of alarm? This wasn't the
It
fire
was an
alarm.
intrusion alarm.
Oh, I see.
So,
okay.
security alarm,
Okay,
yeah.
a security alarm. Gotcha.
Right.
Okay. All right. Well, different story.
Still.
All right, so today's December 4th. So before we get to the first break, we have to do our first famous birthday. And you're probably wondering, Pete, because on your list you just have a name, but you don't have an explanation.
Yes.
Who the heck is Robert Adler?
And how's he connected to that song?
Well, I know, right? So this is great. I really love this. So it's first of all, it's the late Robert Adler. He was a physicist and an inventor, and he was born December 4th, 1913 in Vienna, Austria. He died in 2007 at the age of 93. But you're going to love this. Robert Adler earned a PhD in physics from the University of Vienna in 1937. Following Austria's annexation by Nazi Germany in 1938, Dr. Adler, who was Jewish, left the country. After emigrating to the United States, he began working at Zenith Electronics in the research division in 1941. Now, you remember Zenith?
Yep.
Television
Yeah,
sets,
sure.
okay. Most of my older
Television,
listeners
radios, and other appliances.
Exactly, and my older folks are all going to remember that. In his lifetime, Adler was granted more than 180 U.S. patents. He is best known, Pete, for the wireless remote control for televisions.
Okay, that makes sense now.
There you go. While not the first remote control, its underlying technology was a vast improvement over previous remote control systems. So we can thank the late Robert Adler for the fact that we can just sit there and click away with our remote control as we're changing channels on our television.
It's all fun and games till the battery runs out.
There it is. So I thought that was great. He was one of those, and I was looking at it going, all right, so what did this guy do? And I said, oh man, for all the guys out there that just love to, click, especially all their sports and stuff.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, thought that was great. We'll do one more birthday before we take a break. It is also the birthday of the late Jean Manford. She was a teacher and activist. She was born December 4th, 1920 in Flushing, New York, and she died. She also lived to the ripe old age of 92. She died in 2013. Jean Manford co-founded the support group organization Parents, Families, and Friends of Lesbians and Gays, and the acronym for that is FLAG, P-F-L-A-G, for which she was awarded the 2012 Presidential Citizens Medal. In April of 1972, Manford and her husband Jules were at home in Flushing, Queens, when they learned from a hospital's telephone call that their son Morty, a gay activist, had been beaten while distributing flyers inside the 50th annual Inner Circle Dinner, a political gathering in New York City. Reports stated that Morty was kicked and stomped while being led away by police. In response, she wrote a letter of protest to the New York Post that identified herself as the mother of a gay protester and complained of police inaction. She gave interviews to radio and television shows in several cities in the weeks that followed, always accompanied by her husband and son. At the time, homosexuality was still considered a mental illness. So, I thought this was really pretty interesting because this is somebody who was born in 1920 and kind of really went out on a limb. And at the time, back in 1972, there was not, a lot of empathy for gays and lesbians. And so she, by going public and really she, I saw the letter that she had written, which was, basically just like, where were the police just to protect her son.
Yeah,
and
sure.
So I thought that was kind of interesting, and I always like to put it in the perspective of time, you know what I mean? And what was going on at the time in our country. So, all right. So it is 6:14. If you're just waking up, you know what? If you have not gone outside yet, please be very, very careful. There's a ton of black ice out there. Yeah, it is really slippery. Anything that melted yesterday has now frozen over. And for those of you who are coming into the Westfield Technical Academy, this parking lot is like a skating rink right now. So just be very, very careful if you're walking outside. It is chilly, and it's really not going to get up much above the mid-30s today. So dress appropriately. It's 6:15. You're listening to WSKB 89.5 FM, radio for the Westfield masses. And in honor of the late Robert Adler, inventor of the television remote control, we are going to play a song by Bruno Mars. It's called The Lazy Song.
Today I don't feel like doing anything. I just wanna kick my feet up, then stare at the fan. Turn the TV on, throw my hand in my pants. Nobody's gonna tell me I can't. Nah, I'll be lounging on the couch, just chilling in my Snuggie. Click to MTV so they can teach me how to Dougie. 'Cause in my castle, I'm the freaking man. Oh, yes, I said it. I said it. I said it 'cause I can. Today I don't feel like doing anything. I just wanna lay in my bed. Don't feel like picking up my phone, so leave a message at the tone. 'Cause today I swear I'm not doing anything. Nothing at all. Woo-hoo, woo-hoo, nothing at all. Woo-hoo, woo-hoo. Tomorrow I'll wake up, do some P90X, meet a really nice girl, have some really nice sex, and she's gonna scream out, "This is great."
Oh my God, this is great.
Yeah, I might mess around and get my college degree. I bet my old man will be so proud of me. But sorry, Pops, you'll just have to wait. Oh, yes, I said it. I said it. I said it 'cause I can. Today I don't feel like doing anything. I just wanna lay in my bed. Don't feel like picking up my phone, so leave a message at the tone. 'Cause today I swear I'm not doing anything. No, I ain't gonna comb my hair, 'cause I ain't going anywhere. No, 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 no. I'll just strut in my birthday suit and let everything hang loose. Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, today I don't feel like doing anything. I just wanna lay in my bed. Don't feel like picking up my phone, so leave a message at the tone. 'Cause today I swear I'm not doing anything. Nothing at all. Woo-hoo, woo-hoo, nothing at all. Woo-hoo, woo-hoo, nothing at all.
Underwriting for WSKB's community radio programming is brought to you in part by R. Levesque Associates. They are offering landscape architecture, civil engineering, environmental permitting, and land surveying. RLA is a second-generation company devoted to excellence in the planning and design of outdoor spaces. On the web at rlaland.com or at 40 School Street in Westfield.
It's Tuesday morning
from 6 till 8. Wow, it's Tuesday with Bob Plass.
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB.
Live from Studio 120 at Westfield Technical Academy, this is WCPC Channel 15 and 89.5 FM, WSKB Westfield.
Good morning, Westfield. It is 6:19. You're listening to WSKB 89.5 FM radio for the Westfield masses. My name is Tina Gorman. I'm your Wake Up Wednesday host, and we are broadcasting live from Westfield Technical Academy. And behind the boards, behind the glass, is our producer, chairman of the board, Pete Coles. Good morning, Pete.
Good morning. You having trouble hearing me this morning?
Yeah, no. You know what? I turned it down when we were doing the music, and yes, now I was having trouble hearing you. I'm like, oh, okay, I gotta turn this back up a little bit. Technical difficulties here. So Pete, did you have a nice Thanksgiving?
Yes.
We didn't really talk about that. We talked about Bob Plass's Thanksgiving, but
went
what
to
did
my
you
brother's
do?
house. Just kind of hung out with family.
Okay.
Kids were there. My son Timmy showed up, and we just kind of hung out as a family. It wasn't a big extended. Sometimes. My brother's wife has 4 siblings, so sometimes it can get really big around there.
Yeah.
It can get really big.
Now, what does Timmy do? Where is Timmy these days? Where's Timmy?
He's in Longmeadow with his grandparents.
Okay.
His first drill weekend, I think, is this weekend.
Okay.
So he met his unit. Did I tell you he got named as a crew chief right out of the bat?
No, I haven't really. Ever since his graduation, we really haven't followed this. I haven't talked about him, so I need an update.
Yeah. So. He got his final commissioning, or assigning to his unit at Westover a couple of weeks ago, and his commanding officer said he'd be a crew chief of a helicopter right off the bat.
Wow!
Apparently, he did so well in school, and he was thought highly of by his instructors down there that they named him a crew chief of a multi-million-dollar helicopter right off the bat.
That is something to be proud of. Wow, that's wonderful. That's excellent.
So he said, Dad, I got to get my flight physical. He goes, I go out with a helicopter anytime it goes out. I'm like, well, knowing the tempo of that unit, because it's right across the street, you're going to be busy a lot, so get used to it.
Okay. Oh, that's great, Pete. Well, good.
So
Congratulations.
They do a lot of flying.
Yeah. Good.
He's on the medical helicopter, and he said his primary job is going to be a door gunner, if getting the helicopter off the ground.
Okay.
So he and along with the maintenance aspect of it, but yeah, he's going to be the helicopter is basically going to be assigned to him.
Wow.
Not just him rotating around the different helicopters.
Yeah.
So
nice. Well, he must be excited about that.
He is.
Is he a little nervous too?
I
mean,
he said
that's
no.
a lot of responsibility.
He said yes and no. He said they trained him very well.
Good.
They said just follow the procedures that are laid out, and you'll be fine.
Good.
I think that's what they train more than just here's how to do something. Like, back when I was trained in TV, this is how you operate a camera. But this is like the procedures are going to change over time.
Yep.
So just follow the procedures and you'll be fine.
Absolutely. Good for him. Well, so it was a nice day for you. Nice Thanksgiving. Did you do anything fun this weekend or just hunker down with the snow coming in?
I'm trying to think. It's
I know. Doesn't it feel like it was so long ago? I feel like Thanksgiving was about 3 weeks ago.
I worked over the weekend at Mount Holyoke, so I did my part-time job.
Yep.
And then Sunday I was going to go to my brother's for football. Obviously, it was snowing. But every time I don't go there, the Patriots lose. So my brother's like, you're going to sleep over next time. That's just all there is to it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I know.
Just crash here.
It was a sad game for sure.
Yeah, so he goes, every time you don't show up, or every time you're not here, they lose.
Yeah. And I really hate to say this because I am so not a Baltimore fan, but they really do look impressive.
Yeah, well,
but you know what? So did San Fran. I thought San Francisco looked really impressive as well. So that was, it was a good.
There's
game.
A lot of good teams this year.
There are a lot. Yeah,
awesome.
There are. You know what? I feel like it's very bimodal. I feel like there are a lot of very, very good teams and a lot of very, very bad teams, and not too many teams sort of in that 500 record range. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with the playoffs.
There's a few.
Yeah, there are a couple.
But we're complaining. We're 10-2, and we're complaining.
I know,
so
really. I'm okay with it.
We get a little nitpicky around here.
Yeah, I'm okay with it. Well, yeah, I think
listen to sports radio. It's kind of funny.
Yeah, well, yeah, I know. They'll analyze every single snap, every play, every breath that the players take. So
right, yeah, exactly.
All right, so listen, let's do a few more famous birthdays today. So today is December 4th. So it is the birthday of singer bassist Chris Hillman. He was born December 4th, 1944 in Los Angeles, California. He's 75 years old today. Chris Hillman was the original bassist and one of the original members of the Byrds. Remember that group?
I do.
Yep, with frequent collaborator Graham Parsons. Hillman was a key figure in the development of country rock, defining the genre through his work with the Byrds, the Flying Burrito Brothers, Manassas, and the country rock group Desert Rose Band, which have you ever heard of Desert Rose Band? I've heard of all the other ones, but not that one.
No.
The Byrds' first single, Mr. Tambourine Man, was an international hit and marked the birth of folk rock. During the mid-1960s, the Byrds ranked as one of the most successful and influential American pop groups. They recorded a string of hits, including Turn, 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 8 Miles High, and So You Want to Be a Rock and Roll Star. So happy 75th birthday to singer-bassist Chris Hillman. It is also the birthday of actress Marissa Tomei. She was born December 4th, 1964 in Brooklyn, New York. She's 55 years old today. Marissa Tomei got her start acting on television shows like As the World Turns and A Different World. She went on to become a highly successful film actress, beginning with her Academy Award-winning role in My Cousin Vinny, which came out...
Her iconic role.
Exactly, which came out in 1992. Tomei also earned Oscar nominations for In the Bedroom, which came out in 2001, and The Wrestler, which came out in 2008, and later joined the Marvel Cinematic Universe as Spider-Man's Aunt May. So happy 55th birthday to actress Marissa Tomei. I'm sure she'll be happy to know that she can now get into many senior living residences at the age of 55. There it is, Marissa. We're all getting older, honey. All right. It's also the birthday of Freddie Boom Boom Cannon, rock and roll singer, born December 4th, 1936 in Revere, Massachusetts. He's 83 years old today. Frederick Anthony Piccarello Jr., known as Freddie Cannon, is an American rock and roll singer. His biggest international hits include Tallahassee Lassie, Way Down Yonder in New Orleans, and Palisades Park. Inspired musically by Chuck Berry, Bo Diddley, and Little Richard, he formed his own group in the late 1950s, Freddie Carmen and the Hurricanes, which became increasingly popular in the Boston area, because remember, he was from Revere, Mass.
Sure.
He also became a regular on a local television dance show called Boston Ballroom. Have you ever heard of that, Pete?
No.
I had never heard of that. Boston Ballroom. That must have been in the 50s. Dick Clark brought him national exposure through his numerous appearances on his television program, American Bandstand, a record of 110 appearances in total. That's a lot of appearances.
Yeah, exactly.
Even for American Bandstand. So happy 83rd birthday, Freddie Cannon. And it is also the birthday of the late Dennis Wilson, drummer, singer, born December 4th, 1944 in Hawthorne, California. He died right after Christmas in 1983 at the age of 39. He died on December 28th. Dennis Wilson was the drummer for the Beach Boys, whose surfing sound helped define an era in the 1960s for millions of young Americans. Wilson founded the Beach Boys with his brothers Carl and Brian. Together with a cousin, Mike Love, and a neighbor, Alan Jardine, they formed the group in 1961 and recorded a series of hits characterized by a pounding, repetitious beat that echoed the rhythmic sound of waves on a beach. Their songs elevated surfing, then an arcane California pastime, into a national preoccupation among teenagers and pre-teenagers. Dennis Wilson, who had to be talked into playing the drums, was the only one of the brothers who adopted surfing as a hobby. But his love of athletics and of nature inspired many of the songs written by his older brother Brian, the group's principal songwriter and producer. In their 22-year recording career, the Beach Boys sold an estimated 75 million records. Dennis Wilson drowned in an apparent accident. So happy birthday to the late Dennis Wilson. Of course, we'll play a Beach Boys tune for you later on.
Sure.
So, to round out all of these birthdays and so forth, we are going to do National Day. And December 4th, this year, this date actually changes from year to year, but today is National Package Protection Day. So National Package Protection Day is always the Wednesday after Thanksgiving. So last year it was actually, because Thanksgiving was early, so National Package Protection Day was actually in November. So the date changes, but it's always the Wednesday after Thanksgiving. And it encourages homeowners to stay alert and protect their homes against package theft which becomes more and more prevalent during the holidays. This year's Package Protection Day falls on December 4th, so be on the lookout. The internet has made it easier to find deals and have packages shipped straight to our homes. But this has also made it easier for thieves to snatch our deliveries right from our doorsteps. Cyber Monday in particular is a big online shopping day where most purchases are shipped directly to the buyer's home. With the advent of Black Friday and Cyber Monday, there became a need for a day that raises awareness of package theft and helps homeowners protect themselves against thieves. And just like that, Package Protection Day was born. So, how to observe it? Spread the word throughout your neighborhood about Package Protection Day so your community is alert during the holidays. So, one of the things that you can do, especially if you're friendly with your neighbors, let them know. We're very lucky. I have some neighbors who are retired, so they're kind of around during the day.
Sure.
And I absolutely let them know, and especially if you have ordered things online and then you're going to be going away maybe for a business trip or maybe to visit friends or relatives for a day or two or an overnight, let your neighbors know, listen, I'm expecting a package. If you see something on my front porch, my neighbor has the key to my house. Either, take it in, or could you just take it over to your house and I'll pick it up on my way home, because it's really sad to say that there are people that are, they're out there, and believe me, there are packages all over the place now. So I know that you can also have packages shipped. Some people have them shipped to their place of employment.
Yep.
They're different. And
some people know their UPS guy and have a combination lock, and they have like an outdoor where they store,
right.
Like you store summer stuff.
Yep.
And they have that on the front lawn or by the door,
yep.
And the combination lock, they actually put it in the shipping instructions.
Yes. What was really interesting, Pete, it's exactly what you're just saying. We ordered a box to put on our front porch to have our newsletters delivered in. And when I was reading the reviews of the one that I ordered, people were saying just exactly what you just said, Pete. A lot of people ordered it if they do a lot of online purchasing, mm-hmm. and they ordered it exactly for that reason, just to have packages put into something so they're not kind of, out
sitting
on the front
there,
steps.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. So just be aware and, help your neighbors out. If you see a package on their front lawn and, take it in your house for a few hours, leave them a voicemail or leave a little note saying, hey, listen, I got your package down the street, stop by on your way home from work and you can get it for me. So just, this is the neighborhood watch. That's what you need to do.
Yep.
All right, so happy National Package Protection Day. All right, it is 6:31. You're listening to WSKB 89.5 FM radio for the Westfield masses. So we are going to listen to a song by the Byrds. This is in honor of the birthday of Chris Hillman. It's one of my favorites, and a lot of people really like this one. It's from way back.
Based upon a verse from the Bible.
Yes. Turn, turn, turn.
Yep.
Enjoy.
A time of love, a time of hate, a time of war.
landscape distribution, providing products and services needed for building material dealers, home improvement centers, and industrial customers. They offer everything from engineered wood and plywood to Drex decking and railing, James Hardie siding, and Advantech subfloor. Located at 33 Fowler Street Extension in Westfield and on the web at bc.com, they are committed to providing quality products, great service, convenience, and value.
Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by Comcast and Xfinity.com, offering Xfinity TV, Internet, home phone, and home security services. Information on all that Xfinity has to offer in the Westfield area is available online at Xfinity.com.
It's Tuesday morning from 6 till 8. Wow, it's Tuesday with Bob Plass.
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB.
Live from Studio 120 at Westfield Technical Academy, this is WCPC Channel 15 and 89.5 FM, WSKB Westfield.
Good morning, Westfield. It is 6:38. You're listening to WSKB 89.5 FM, radio for the Westfield masses. My name is Tina Gorman. I'm your Wake Up Wednesday host, and I'm joined this morning for the first hour with Pete Coles behind the glass, behind the boards, the chairman of the board. We like to refer to Pete as. So good morning again, Pete.
Good morning.
We do have a guest second hour. Eliana Lakritz, our resident dietitian, will be joining us. We're going to be talking about holiday eating and holiday cooking and just sort of how to enjoy the holidays, but also not completely overdo and, kind of stay somewhat healthy. So we'll be looking forward to that in a little while, about a half hour or so.
Yeah. Did you tell her to be careful walking in?
Yeah, well, hopefully she will. She texted me yesterday, or she emailed me yesterday, and she said, are we still on for tomorrow? I said, absolutely. Normally, this is the first Wednesday of the month, and normally we would have our resident chiropractic physician here this morning, Dr. Gary Gorman, but he has been under the weather, and he's doing better. He's on the mend. But I had to make the executive decision on Monday morning while I was preparing for my radio show as to whether or not he was going to come in. And I just, I just feel like he needs the rest. And he told me last night, he was, his voice is very raspy. And I said, you know what?
The hanging on cold that's been going around early season?
Yeah, his is kind of, sinusy, and, now it's kind of in his chest a little bit. But he's doing better. He sounded better yesterday. But, of course, it's hard, Pete, because you're not feeling well. And then he had to go out and shovel, snowplow the driveway.
It doesn't get away,
I know. And our neighbors, he was helping out. We have a couple of neighbors who are older, and one of them, his snowplow, bit the dust, and so Gary kind of helped him out the first time around, and then our other neighbors helped him out yesterday morning. So we have a nice neighborhood, and everybody was helping each other out. But yeah, Gary, so I said to Gary, sleep in this morning, and actually we next, Christmas and New Year's both fall on Wednesdays this year.
I know, right in the middle of the week.
So so this is my year to have days off. I remember the years Patrick had it off, and I was like, oh. But this is my year, so we will not be airing Christmas Day or New Year's Day. So so Gary, and I think Gary has something else going on in February. We may not see him until March. But anyway, but Eliana will be with us later on. And just as an announcement, I have been back and forth on my texting on my cell phone with Acting Mayor Figge about our senior center parking lot. DPW will be on the grounds at about 7:30, and it's going to take them a couple of hours. So for those of you who, Yep, and for those of you who will be getting to the senior center early, you'll just need to park in the spaces nearer to the building and leave plenty of room for DPW to finish up. There you have the back part of the lot that has to be done. If you can get in from Danick Drive, but there's just kind of like a path. There's not like a big space.
Yeah, they got
it
passable, but that was about
so
it.
you really kind of need to come in through the front entrance, the main entrance where the main sign is that has Mary Noble's name on it. And we will do the best we can. As Ralph said, and you have to, I have to do a shout out to DPW because in a snowstorm, all they hear are complaints.
And their primary job
are,
is to keep the primary roads open.
Right, and they are doing the very best that they can, but we got slammed. And I had, when I emailed or I texted Casey Berube yesterday afternoon, and I said, listen, I know you've got a long list of places that you have to plow, so, you don't have to make us your top priority. Just remember that we'll be opening at 8:30, so a little bit of time in there. But anyway, be kind to the snowplow guys. Give them a wave, give them a thumbs up.
Yeah, this is a tough storm because it was a
tough
two-parter.
storm. Yep.
And they had to get the roads cleared the first time because that would have froze.
Exactly.
And then they had to come back out and deal with a lot more snow than they were expecting, so it kind of caught them by surprise, too.
Exactly. So, anyway, so that's our story. So thank you to Acting Mayor Figge for being right on that this morning at 5:30 with me. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about some of upcoming events at the Senior Center, and then we have a lot to talk about because December 7th, we've been talking about this for about 2 weeks now, all of the things that are going on December 7th, and I know that Jay and Bob Plass were talking about it yesterday. They were even throwing things in that I didn't even know about. So that list of things to do on Saturday and Sunday this weekend.
I had originally scheduled a shift in my part-time job that had to go away. I was like, I can't work that shift.
I know. It's just crazy and bizarre. Okay, so here are a few things that are going on in the Senior Center in December. So our big event is going to be our Christmas Eve open house gathering. So we will be open on Christmas Eve, at least in the morning, and we are doing an open house from 8:30 a.m. to 10 a.m. We have invited any of the police officers, any of the firefighters and first responders who are working on Christmas Eve to please stop by and view their beautiful Christmas trees and have a cup of coffee with us, cup of tea, some pastries and muffins, and our kitchen crew will have a really nice spread for everyone. Our entertainment will be provided by the Keepers, and that's Marion Dunk, Westfield's own Marion Dunk, and West Springfield's own Chip Arnold. So they will be there Christmas Eve morning providing some holiday tunes for us. So this will be a really nice opportunity. Chief Larry Valier from the police department stopped by last week because Marion Krause and Barbara Wojcik designed and created a tabletop police tree for Chief Valier, and we took it over there last week, and he came to the Senior Center. Actually, I had just gotten back from the radio show, and he came over to the Senior Center he was hoping that Barbara and Marion would be there so he could thank them in person, but they were not. It was the day before Thanksgiving. But he just was so appreciative and came by to look at all the trees and, take a grand tour of the Senior Center. And Chief Valier said that absolutely he will be sending police officers over on Christmas Eve to celebrate with us. So we invite all our seniors to that. We also have the Do Re Mi Singers. They are doing a very merry holiday concert, and that will be Wednesday, December 18th at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And this is a free concert for all to come and enjoy and celebrate the holiday season. So if you are a grandparent who has grandchild babysitting duties that day, and if the kids are, out of school, if your kids get home early, the concert starts at 2 o'clock, and by all means bring them if you have preschoolers. As long as they're well behaved, they are absolutely welcome. We have on the front page our inclement weather closing protocol. And Pete, I am so proud of you. You had this down pat yesterday. I heard you on Bob Plass's show on Wow It's Tuesday. Absolutely. So if you haven't figured it out by now, and I have to say, I think the seniors have it down pat because I think I only had one or two people who showed up on the doorstep on Tuesday. I don't think I was in it all on Monday. I can't even remember now. But anyway, Monday I was there. Yeah, I was there on Monday later in the day. But I only had a couple of people who came by not realizing that we were closed. So if the Westfield schools are closed, the Westfield Senior Center is closed. We put it on all three of the local TV stations. Pete has it scrolling on WCPC, our channel 15, the channel that you're watching this show on. We announce it on the radio. Lenore has it up on the city website, so it's all over the place. If the schools have a delayed opening, then the Senior Center opens at 11 a.m., and that gives DPW a chance to get the schools all plowed out, get their parking lots done first, and then they come over and do ours. So, and also we are running at the Senior Center right now a silent auction. We're calling it our holiday silent auction. All of the auction display items are in the Fireside Lounge. We have 11 prizes. Tickets are $1 a piece or 6 for $5. You can purchase them at the greeter's desk, and we are selling tickets through next Thursday, which is a week from tomorrow, and that's the day of our Jingle Bell Brunch, and that's when we'll pull the winners. You do not have to be present to win, because on the back of your ticket you're going to put your name and your phone number. So if you win and you're not attending the Jingle Bell Brunch, because we did sell out, so a lot of people didn't get tickets who wanted them, we will call you and let you know that you won a prize. So, and all of the proceeds for that are going into our revolving gift account. So I hope you'll help to support our holiday silent auction. All right, so we're going to take our next break, and when we come back, we're going to begin to plow through, no pun intended, all of the coming events for this weekend that are happening in Westfield. This song is in honor of National Package Protection Day. It's by Stevie Wonder, and it's signed, sealed, delivered. I'm yours.
Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by Bay State Dental. Comprehensive dentistry at 14 convenient locations in Springfield, Chicopee, Longmeadow, West Springfield, Belchertown, East Longmeadow, Ludlow, Northampton, Greenfield, and Wilbraham, as well as 29 Broad Street in Westfield. Bay State Dental makes it a priority to help you achieve and maintain the healthy smile you deserve. On the web at baystatedental.com.
It's Tuesday morning from 6 till 8. Wow, it's Tuesday with Bob Plass.
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB. Live from Studio 120 at Westfield Technical Academy, this is WCPC Channel 15 and 89.5 FM, WSKB Westfield.
Good morning, Westfield. It is 6:49. You're listening to WSKB 89.5 FM radio for the Westfield masses. My name is Tina Gorman. I'm your Wake Up Wednesday host, and I'm joined this first hour by Pete Coles, behind the glass, the chairman of the board. Good morning again, Pete.
Good morning.
Are we all awake now? Everything good?
Pretty much.
All right. Sounds good. It's quiet around here. Why is it so quiet?
I don't know. Everybody's starting to trickle in.
Okay. All of a sudden I'm thinking they don't have a delayed opening, do they?
No.
Okay.
I doubt it.
All right. None that we had heard of anyway. All right. Sounds good. So let's dive into all of the things that are going to be happening this weekend. So first of all, some of them I've announced, but some of them have now come to my attention. For instance, Breakfast with Santa, Saturday, December 7th, 8 a.m. to noon at Shortstop Bar and Grill. Our friends over in Nabil Hanush and our friends over there with all the construction. Breakfast buffet, adults $19.99, kids $12.99, excludes drinks. And I guess you do have to reserve. So for reservations, call 642-6370. So there you go, Breakfast with Santa. All right, now we got all the Bob Plass and the WOW stuff, right? And the JPEG Luca stuff. So Bob talked about the Lantern Light Workshop. So that is going this Saturday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Westfield Middle School. Correct. This is a free family event. So my understanding, Pete, from listening to Bob yesterday on the radio, is that the kids will create their lanterns. Is that they're going to make their lanterns that they can then carry in the parade on
Correct.
Saturday.
And the parade's got a new start location.
Yes, St. John's Lutheran Church.
On Broad Street. So they're going to march up to the green. It actually works out better for traffic and everything.
It does.
Yeah.
And you know what? This is a big fat shout out to St. John's Lutheran Church, because I got to tell you, that church, that congregation, they really have come out for the city in a lot of ways. When we had to relocate, remember years ago when they were doing all the construction on Elm Street, or on Main Street, when in the old senior center, I had to find a place to relocate the senior center, and I had about a week to do it. And we ended up relocating and holding our programs and our services at St. John's Lutheran Church. And we were there for, I think like 8 months. It was longer than we had anticipated, about 4. And of course, it doubled that, because that's usually what it takes. But anyway, So thank you to St. John's, because they've just been great. And we used to do the brown bag program at St. John's Church. So very community oriented. So that's where the parade will gather. Did Bob say what time they're meeting for the parade? I don't have that time.
I think it's like 5:45.
Okay.
Because the tree lighting's around 6:30.
Okay, very good. And so they'll walk. What did Bob say? They're going to walk from the church down and around the green a few times. Is that the idea?
Down the church and around the green once, I believe.
Yeah. And so that makes a lot of sense, because it keeps it so that the police can,
redirect
keeps it a lot
traffic
and
manage,
so forth.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right. So also on Saturday. Is that right? Let's see. The Wyben Union Church at 678 Montgomery Street is hosting its annual craft fair, December 7th from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m.
Okay.
Artisan crafts such as handmade jewelry, stained glass, pottery, and more will be offered. Baked goods and corn chowder will be for sale. So that's the Wyben Union Church, the Wyben Church Fair. Pete, do you have any idea of how they did here at the because they had the craft fair on Sunday, and I didn't know how they were
open.
Yep. Well, and
I think
it
did pretty well.
Yeah, it didn't start. If people got here early, it didn't start doing anything until
late afternoon.
Yeah, exactly.
It was 9 to 3, so
it was 9 to 3.
Perfect.
I was keeping my fingers crossed for them that people, because I have to say I was out and about on Sunday morning, as were a lot of other people, and it seemed like people were like, okay, it's a snowstorm. We live in New England. Nobody seemed to be panicking or going crazy. It was just like, all right, well, we're just going to be out and about until the flakes start falling. So.
Right, yeah.
Okay. All right. Also, this weekend and next weekend, and I know Bob talked about this on the show yesterday, a Christmas Carol that will be with the Westfield Women's Club. And as Jay pointed out yesterday, if you've never been to the theater, it's really a neat venue. It's so that will be December 6th, so that's Friday and Saturday this weekend, as well as Friday and Saturday next weekend. So 6, 7, 13, 14 at 7:30, and then there's also a matinee show on December 14th at 2 p.m. The price for tickets: adults $18, students, seniors, senior citizens, and military $15. And star seating is $23. So if you'd like to make a reservation for Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol, you can call 572-6838. Or you can go to westfieldtheatergroup.com. And they are now accepting credit cards. So if that's helpful to you, by all means, I'm sure they'll, you can pay with credit card. All right, we got another craft fair. This one is the St. Peter St. Casimir Church Parish Center. That's at 34 State Street. Also Saturday, December 7th from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. And theirs is also Sunday, December 8th from 8 to 12. So they too will have some unique items, handmade crafts, ornaments, knitted items, decorations, and more. They're going to have raffles. Their grand raffle is a chance to win a TV, bicycle, and money prizes. You can have a chance to win a gift card or gift basket, a chance to win a lottery ticket tree. So, you know, all kinds of things. But they also have a bake sale and luncheon, and they have some ethnic specialties that you can enjoy. So homemade galumpki soup, sandwiches, sauerkraut, galumpkis, delicious desserts, and more. So that's the St. Peter and St. Casimir Church Craft Fair, and that is this Saturday and Sunday. Saturday is 9 to 5. Sunday is 8 to 12. You can enjoy that. Don't forget, especially for you veterans that are out there, that this Saturday, December 7th, is Pearl Harbor Day. So the city of Westfield will be having a ceremony over at the Great River Bridge on the south side.
Yeah.
Yes, the south side. Thank you. At 10:30 in the morning. And I think this is about a half an hour ceremony, if I recall correctly. So this is in honor. It's to observe December 7th, 1941, Japanese Navy attack on Pearl Harbor, Hawaii, 78 years ago, which resulted in the United States entry into World War II. So our guest speaker will be Bennett Walsh. You know Bennett Walsh,
Classmate.
don't you?
Yep.
Oh, he was a classmate of. I didn't know how you knew him, Pete.
Yeah, we went to high school together.
Oh, so he's a young guy.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that. He is the superintendent of the Soldiers' Home in Holyoke and retired lieutenant colonel of the United States Marine Corps. And also local and state dignitaries have been invited to attend. So, you know, with all the fun and the festivities and making lanterns and going to craft fairs and eating delicious galumpkis and so forth, you know, take a half an hour to go over to the Great Bridge and
What
honor.
time is that?
It's at 10:30. 10:30 in the morning. Yep, I know. There's an extra one. And then we also have the Community Carol Festival. This is the New England Brass Quartet, the senior choir of First Church, Young Singers of Greater Westfield. This is also Saturday, December 7th at 4 p.m. First Congregational Church, 18 Broad Street in Westfield. So you can actually do this before the parade starts because this is at 4 p.m. And the admission is free. Donations are encouraged. So 18 Broad Street. I'm trying to remember First Congregational Church. I get them all mixed up down there on Broad Street because you got St. John's. You have the one that's near Stop and Shop, and then you have the one across the street. So anyway, 18 Broad Street. And that is the Community Carol Festival, the New England Brass Quartet. So that should be a really good concert as well. So all kinds of things to put you in the mood if looking out the window and just seeing 2 feet of snow doesn't do it for you. But you got to be feeling that holiday spirit here, folks. All right. I'll do one more announcement before we take our top of the hour break. And this is our plea from the Salvation Army. They are still in need of bell ringers. This is their way of raising funds around the holiday season. So if you can donate a couple of hours and do some bell ringing for the Salvation Army, all of that money stays local for use in our local area. And the number to call is 562-2910. So for all of you people who come to the senior center and all of you students who need community service hours because you're in the National Honor Society or because you got in trouble or whatever, they could really use bell ringers. So give them a call at the Salvation Army, 562-2910. It's fun, it's easy, and it helps the Salvation Army to provide food, heating, and utility assistance to local struggling families. And I have to say they do a marvelous job of that, and the Salvation Army has really helped us with some of our most challenging cases with seniors who mostly it's been fuel and, heat being, lack of heat, lack of oil, whatever. So help them out. Ring a bell. That'll help a lot. It is 7 o'clock. You're listening to WSKB 89.5 FM radio for the Westfield masses. We're going to take our top of the hour break.
Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by the Barnes & Noble College Bookstore in the Ely Campus Center, offering Westfield State t-shirts, sweatshirts, and gift merchandise, all of your academic needs, and offering textbook materials in new, used, ebook, and rental formats. Available at the bookstore on campus or online at westfieldstate.bncollege.com. Support for community radio on WSKB is provided by Betts Plumbing and Heating Supply Company, an independent, family-owned wholesaler serving Westfield for over 50 years, specializing in plumbing, heating, and industrial piping supplies. On the web at bettsplumbing.com or at 14 Coleman Avenue in Westfield.
It's Tuesday morning from 6 till 8. Wow, it's Tuesday with Bob Plass.
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB. Live from Studio 120 at Westfield Technical Academy, this is WCPC Channel 15 and 89.5 FM, WSKB Westfield.
Good morning, Westfield. It is 7:03. You're listening to WSKB 89.5 FM, radio for the Westfield masses. My name is Tina Gorman. I'm your Wake Up Wednesday host. And behind the glass, behind the boards, our chairman of the board, producer Pete Coles. Good morning, Pete.
Good morning.
It is eerily quiet here this morning, Pete.
I see people trickling
Oh,
in.
do you? Okay. I wasn't sure if
I saw
maybe
Pete
they're...
Loomis. I saw some
you
of the
did.
teachers.
Okay. I wasn't sure if they were coming in just the main entrance because it is pretty icy in this back entrance here.
Yeah,
So.
Chef Mooch is here. So,
Oh, he is.
yeah.
Well, if Chef Mooch is here, let the games begin, you know.
The truck is here. The door is propped
Yeah.
for his other teachers to get in.
Good,
so,
good,
yeah.
good. Well, you know what, Pete? It's funny because we were talking before about, I asked you what you did for Thanksgiving, and, it was kind of like, wow, that seems like it was so long ago, which it feels like it, but it really wasn't.
Even Sunday was a long time ago, it feels like it.
I know. It's really strange, but
I did
you know
my
what?
first cooking of sous vide stuff on Sunday.
Now, what did you make?
I made a roast, but I
Okay.
cooked it in a hot water bath for almost a day and a half.
That's right, because we were talking about that a couple of weeks ago.
Yes. I
Yes.
bought a rump roast and I cooked it in the sous vide for 27
And
hours.
Remind our listeners and myself again, a sous vide is
So you put
what
it,
happens.
You can either do a vacuum seal bag or like a Ziploc bag.
Okay.
Freezer bag.
Okay. So you put the roast
You immerse
in
it
the bag.
in a hot. You put
Okay.
seasoning, whatever.
Okay.
You immerse it in a hot water bath with a little wand and a big tub of water that circulates the water.
Okay.
Keeps it moving.
Okay.
And it keeps it at a constant temperature.
So
So if you like a medium roast at 145 degrees internal temperature, you
Mm-hmm.
set it for that and you just let it go.
now
And go.
how big is this? Is it how big is the sous
The
vide?
wand is only about 3 inches in diameter or 2
Oh.
inches in diameter.
Okay.
It slides over the side of any type of container. So I talked to the guys next door, and we got a non-reactive food grade container. It was about 12. It held about 12 quarts.
Okay, so the sous vide is really just the wand.
Right. It's the cooking technique. Actually,
I understand. Okay. Oh, it's the
cooking-
technique.
yes,
Okay,
it's the
I
cooking
understand.
technique, yes.
All right, because I'm thinking it's like almost like a crock pot type, like a bowl with. So you can use you supply your own bowl, dish, whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
Some people
okay.
use pots, large
Okay.
stock pots.
Okay.
Use that.
And how does the wand move, or do you like?
No,
it
it's-
just okay, but it circulates
It's kind
the
of like
water.
a pump in almost like a pump in a
Okay.
aquarium type of
No,
thing.
I get that. I
It
get
just
the
circulates and heats
concept.
the water.
All right.
And it keeps it at a constant temperature. But the thing is, you can't overcook the meat or the protein because you can't go over that internal temperature that you need for the right. Right?
Okay.
Like if you like medium, I could have cooked it a little bit less and had a little bit
So
of pink
is there
in there.
so do you adjust that on the wand? Do you adjust the
you
temperature setting on the wand?
You set your temperature on the wand, yep.
Oh.
And once I set it, you just let it go. They said for a 4-pound roast about 24 hours.
Okay.
I let it go about 27, and it was so tender. It was unbelievable.
Pete,
and it
now,
wasn't stringy like, pot roast. The same stuff
Yeah.
used for pot roast.
Yeah.
That's very stringy. This is
Yeah.
just, it was tender.
and it's called
full
the
tender.
sous vide. Sous vide?
Yeah, the cooking type is called sous vide. SOUSVIDE, sous vide, which
Oh,
is a
that just sounds
French
really,
cooking
really
technique.
interesting. So do you own this? Do you own the wand, or did you borrow that from
No,
somebody?
I
You
own
bought it.
Yeah.
Or did you get it like at a cooking store? Can you get it like Bed Bath and Beyond?
Oh yeah, you
or
can get it
something
just
like
about
that? Okay,
anywhere.
just
Yeah,
about
any cooking. So Kenny found it. Kenny found a brand name that the Chinese factory was making their own afterwards. After
yes.
the run,
Yeah.
He found it for like $30, and I'm like, I'm jumping on that for $30.
Sounds like and what I like about it,
normal ones are like $100.
Well, what I like about it, it doesn't sound like it takes up very much room.
Just whatever the 12-quart thing takes on this thing. So.
Well, if you're using a pot or something that you've already got, right? It's just the wand.
I bought the 12-quart thing. It was like $28.
Okay.
It wasn't expensive.
Okay.
I was like, well, might as well have that as a cooking unit.
Right. Now, do you have to cover it?
Yeah, this one came with like a neoprene, or not neoprene. What do you call it? Silicone.
Okay.
Cover, which has a cutout for the wand.
Oh, so okay.
So it came prepared for that.
Perfect.
So very little evaporation because you're only at 145, that type of thing. So, but it did keep it.
Now, what else can you?
compact.
What other kind? Of course, we should probably wait until
cook chicken
Eliana
breast.
is here. But I'm just curious about this. So, Can you
cook chicken breast?
Can you cook something other than meat or protein?
Oh, sure, yeah.
Can you? Okay. So
Yeah, you can cook like vegetables. You can cook whatever. I don't have the vacuum sealer yet, which makes it even better because you can.
Okay.
You can do all kinds of things with that.
Right,
you can even steep, if you want to make flavored alcohols, like flavored vodkas.
Oh.
You could do that, and it increases it. Instead of being like a couple of days to do it, it's a couple of hours.
All right. Well, you know what? We're going to put this conversation on hold because Eliana Lakritz is coming. She's actually here, so she'll be joining us after we take our quarter-hour break, so we can get her in on this conversation of the sous vide, and see what her experiences are. In the meantime, I just have a couple of announcements before we go to our next break. So, first of all, those of you who have been listening to the show know that I'm on a mission to get used band instruments for my friend Chris Tulpa, who is the principal over at Franklin School. She is trying to get a band together, an after-school program together for some of the students over there. And, of course, that is one of the schools, that's considered as Superintendent Zaporowski said, it's an urban school in a suburban setting. And there are some issues of lack of funding, and band instruments are just incredibly expensive.
Yeah.
So if you have them lying around your house, or if your kids or your grandkids have band instruments that they're not using, trumpet, trombone, clarinet, oboe, flute, anything like that, anything that you would play in a band.
Sure.
Chris is looking for those. Certainly not new, used. If you have them in the case, that's great. If you don't have the case, that's all right. We'll take the instrument anyway, and you can bring those to the senior center, and I will make sure that Chris gets them over at Franklin School. So as you're gathering for the holidays, throw that one out to your family. Hey, anybody have any old band instruments that are collecting dust in the bottom of a closet or up in the attic someplace, because we are going to repurpose them and recycle them. We're all about that. All right, so a couple of things coming up, which I will announce next week as well, but just going to throw this out there for you. Both of our assisted living facilities in Westfield, both Armbrook Village and the Arbors at Westfield, will be having their holiday bazaar/craft fair on December 14th. So this will be a little bit closer to the holidays. Both of them go from, the Arbors goes from 10 a.m. to 3:30, and Armbrook Village goes from 10 to 3:30. The Arbors goes from 10 to 3 o'clock. The Arbors is located at 40 Court Street. Armbrook Village is over in Wyben, 551 North Road. It's right around the corner from 7B's, which used to be the Purple Onion. And you know what? This is also a really good opportunity. If you have never set foot in either one of those assisted living facilities, this is really a great opportunity to just, get your foot in the door and kind of look, poke around, see what they have. They're both wonderful facilities. They're different, they're different from each other. And it's just a wonderful opportunity, but they'll have all kinds of handmade everything, and they'll also be selling food. And it's just a fun outing. And of course, it's a fundraiser for both of these groups that do a lot. And, both of them, and especially Armbrook Village, we had Beth on the show last week. And as Beth said, she opens up the doors. A lot of the entertainment that they have, she'll open that up to the public. So let's support them. So that will be on Saturday, September 14th. So just getting a little bit ahead of ourselves there. Okay. Now, I think I think that's about it for announcements right now. Did I miss anything, Pete? I can't.
I
the
don't
tour.
think so.
The only thing is the tour of homes, and I don't have a lot of information about that. It's do you have to get tickets ahead of time for that?
Or you can buy them at the Renova building.
Oh, you can. Oh, okay,
Westfield
very
Creative
good.
Arts. Wow, yeah.
Okay, and also and that's an opportunity when you go down to get the tickets for the tour, the tour of homes. You can see the trees.
Jubilee.
The Tree Jubilee, which they are. When are they going to pick the winners for those, Pete? Is that this weekend? Or is that next week? Because I
think it's the weekend after.
Oh, hold on. I got it. Nope. Raffle winners will be drawn December 8th. So that's Sunday. This Sunday.
Yeah.
Well, you'd kind of think they'd, if you win a tree, you want to have it up for a while. So
right.
Yeah. So I was amazed at some of the trees that Jay and Bob were describing yesterday. Lottery tickets on them and prizes on them and gift cards on them and all kinds of really great stuff. So go on down to the Renova building, which is located right on Elm Street, right at the finish line. I always describe it as the finish line of Run Westfield. So for those of you who runners and walkers, you all know where the finish line is, where we do our block party every year. But anyway, all right, it is 7:13. You're listening to WSKB 89.5 FM, radio for the Westfield masses. We're going to take a short break. This is in honor of the birthday of Freddie Boom Boom Cannon. We're going to listen to Palisades Park, and when we come back, our guest this second hour is Eliana Lakritz. She is the clinical dietitian with Bay State Noble Hospital. So we will be back.
Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by Comcast and Xfinity.com, offering Xfinity TV, Internet, home phone, and home security services. Information on all that Xfinity has to offer in the Westfield area is available online at Xfinity.com. Support for community radio on WSKB is provided by Betts Plumbing and Heating Supply Company, an independent, family-owned wholesaler serving Westfield for over 50 years, specializing in plumbing, heating, and industrial piping supplies. On the web at bettsplumbing.com or at 14 Coleman Avenue in Westfield.
It's Tuesday morning from 6 till 8. Wow, it's Tuesday with Bob Plass.
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB. Live from Studio 120 at Westfield Technical Academy, this is WCPC Channel 15 and 89.5 FM, WSKB Westfield.
Good morning, Westfield. It is 7:17. You're listening to WSKB 89.5 FM, radio for the Westfield masses. My name is Tina Gorman. I'm your Wake Up Wednesday host, and I'm joined this second hour by Eliana Lakritz, our resident dietitian, nutritionist over here. She's a clinical dietitian with Bay State Noble Hospital. Good morning, Eliana.
Good morning.
So, have you shoveled your way out of wherever you live.
Yes, I did my part.
Now, did you have to get to work yesterday and the day before?
Yesterday and the day before.
Yeah,
people got to eat.
Same, right? Exactly. Oh, yeah, that's right. Yes, the hospital doesn't close down because of a snowstorm.
No, not at all. It's even more important to be there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Emergencies and things like that.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
All right, so Eliana, let's get right to the chase here. How are the wedding plans coming?
Yeah, they're going. Yeah.
Is everything's okay?
It's starting to come together. I have to figure out a timeline now, when things are going to start, when everybody can get there, and when it's going to end. And I know I'm so excited. After everybody leaves, the wedding party still remains on the premises because it's an inn.
Oh, yes.
And there's going to be a bonfire after the reception.
Oh, how fun.
I'm so excited just for that, even.
It's like, yay.
Well, everybody still has energy.
Yeah, well, exactly. You're all going to be a little tired, but that's okay.
Yeah.
You know what? The adrenaline will be going. So,
I think it's going to be really fun.
So that sounds good. Yeah. So, you just have to kind of work backwards of, on your time. Okay, if we want this to start here, then, where's the prep time and how far back do we have to go?
Right. And then how soon do I have to start the hair and makeup process?
Yes, exactly. Like 3 hours or 3 days or however long everything's going to take.
I think people usually start at 8 a.m. for a 4 p.m.
Now, is that what time your wedding is? 4 o'clock?
It's going to be around that time,
okay.
maybe a
Late
little later.
afternoon.
Yeah, depending on when the person who is doing the ceremony can get
do
there.
it. Yeah. Well, that's really. I've actually been in a couple of morning weddings. A couple of my sisters-in-law didn't have a choice because they got married in the church. That was in the old days when we all used to get married in a church, and that was like the time that the priest had slotted because there were other weddings.
Mm-hmm.
So try to get ready for like a 10 a.m. wedding. That way,
God,
I had to do that a couple
time
of times.
to wake up.
Yeah, it was early, very early.
Yeah,
it was pretty crazy.
I would not be a happy camper.
So that's good. So wedding plans are going well, and that's the end of June.
Mm-hmm.
So, and what about holiday preparation? Is that all going well, or you?
I mean, I don't really do much,
Yeah.
but I did help for Thanksgiving and everything. And,
Yep.
It was interesting. My mother's boyfriend is an Orthodox Jew, so
Okay.
he's kosher.
Okay.
So everything that he did had to be prepared at his house, which was his kosher kitchen.
Yep.
And then he brought it over
Mm-hmm.
and couldn't have the dishes that I had prepared.
Yes.
So it was just kind of a unique experience.
Yeah.
To have that different culture there.
Well, on the one hand you can look at it and say, wow, that's really kind of a pain. And on the other hand, you can look at it and say, well, that's sort of a learning experience.
Absolutely.
Like, oh, how do they do that in your culture? Like, I don't know anything about that. So
it really wasn't. I mean, he had done the work mostly.
Yeah, right.
And I could eat his food.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, what did he bring? What were some of the differences?
Well, they made a kosher turkey.
Oh, okay.
So in the Jewish religion, you can't have milk and meat. So any of the other dishes that were made with any kind of cheese, like I brought a goat cheese,
you
couldn't have that in the same meal.
Okay.
He had made a sweet potato casserole, green beans. He made butternut squash soup, like all this pretty much the staples.
Yeah. I was going to say that's
elsewhere,
just different. Okay, just prepared differently. So in a kosher kitchen, what do you know what that means? Like, I don't really know what that means.
Basically, everything has not been touched with the same things. Milk and meat could not have used the same pots and pans. I think the kitchen itself needs to be blessed by a rabbi, but don't hold me to that.
Okay. All right. That's okay. I'm just curious because, it's different than my own. I'm Catholic, so, the different upbringing and so forth.
And usually the dishes are separated between ones that you designate for meat and ones that you designate for like more milk type.
Okay.
Yeah. Or vegetables.
Good enough. So you cooked, so you had Thanksgiving at your place?
It was at my mom's house.
At your mom's.
Yeah, we all went there.
Nice. Very nice.
It was nice. It's nice to kind of get away.
Yeah, it is. Well, we did. We actually do. I work on Thanksgiving, so we did. Karen Noblet and I, my senior benefits coordinator, and I coordinate the Thanksgiving meal program. We delivered about. We didn't personally. We had 5 teams of volunteers, and a huge shout out, thank you to my 5 teams, who delivered about 100 meals. So each team had about 20 meals to deliver, and in past years when Karen has done the routes, she generally tries to keep geographic areas sort of, so that you're not completely all over the city. Mm-hmm. But that usually means that there are 1 or 2 teams that are, Westfield is big. So you've got teams going out towards Southwick, and you've got teams going up on the North End and all over the place. So this year she split it all up. So everyone had a few close by in the downtown area, but then everyone was heading to, different parts of the city and some of the more remote areas. But it was all great. Yeah.
People love to give back on Thanksgiving.
Yes, absolutely.
So popular.
Yeah, it was. It was a great time. So Pete's not sitting there. We have to talk later about Pete's new toy that he's been playing with cooking wise. So we'll wait till he's back at his his seat over there behind the board. I don't know. He looks like he's unpacking. He must have gotten more deliveries.
Maybe he got some more goodies.
He is, it's this. You talk about Christmas. This place, it's like every time I turn around, there are more boxes showing up with more inventory of something that he's ordered.
Santa's gifts.
Exactly. So our topic today is holiday eating, holiday cooking, holiday preparation. So where would you like to start? Because that's a very broad topic. But just coming off of Thanksgiving and heading into Christmas and New Year's and parties and all of those things. Where would you like to start?
Well, okay. So first off, I wanted to kind of just put this disclosure out there that I understand that the holiday time is like really, really important for getting together with friends and family and enjoying yourself. So of course, you do want to be mindful of what you're eating, but I think the most important thing is to just enjoy the time that you have and just be present. And it's not the end of the world if you gain a few pounds. It's not, because then you can just focus on maybe losing it after or being healthy after. But if you're looking to prevent that guilty feeling, there are some things that you can do during the holiday season to, prevent that.
Okay.
And usually there are only 2 days. There's Thanksgiving and there's Christmas, but there's so much more in between with leftovers.
Yes.
And with other like Friendsgiving and all your friends' holiday parties at the office. Like, it becomes more than just 2 days.
And I think the other thing too is it's very popular to give food as gifts, food and drink as gifts, so, and, we work in a profession. I don't know if you get this, they must at the hospital, but we certainly get it at the senior center with people bringing us cookies and candy and fruit baskets and, all of these different things. And you're just, it's like, it's almost overwhelming because it all comes in at once. So you're right, Eliana, it's not just Thanksgiving Day, Christmas Day. It's all of that stuff in between. And then, of course, between Christmas and New Year's, you've got another week. So you've really got a whole month of eating more than we probably normally would and eating things that we probably wouldn't normally eat.
Yes.
So you're eating different things, not necessarily things that are low in fat or low in carbs or anything like that. So
exactly.
All right, so help us to navigate this. How can we do this and enjoy ourselves but still kind of be mindful?
Well, I think probably what we can do is just start from like the first part of the day and then get to like the last part.
Okay.
So we could start with beverages.
All right.
That's one that sneaks up on us a lot because, in a very merry setting with your friends and family, you might go a little bit overboard on the eggnog drinks.
Sure.
And eggnog, it has probably like a few hundred calories per cup.
I know.
So if you're mixing that and you have several, maybe 5, that can really, really add up on you. And if you're doing that a lot, can cause weight gain. So, I think the important thing is to make sure you can track how much you're drinking and also make sure you're hydrating. So if you're having one drink, follow it by a glass of water.
Yep.
Just to make sure you're keeping up with that because it's very easy to dehydrate in this weather as well. So
good point.
Maybe have one of those eggnog drinks that's going to be heavy that you only get this one time of year and it's a treat.
Yes.
And then the rest of the time, maybe just have your regular, make a spritzer with the wine, have a vodka soda, or, maybe just have a light beer, something that's not going to be as heavy, not going to be as calorie dense, but you're still going to be able to enjoy the time you have with your family. And
I have to tell you, I love eggnog, and my mother-in-law, my mom used to make eggnog a lot for us when we were sick, and she would do it with, low-fat milk and, all that other good stuff. But my mother-in-law made this eggnog that I had, I don't know, probably 20 years ago, and I just tasted it, and I said, I don't know how you made this. It's the best eggnog I've ever eaten in my entire life or had to drink. So she gave me the recipe. So I make it every year.
Yep.
And everybody who's had it, who likes eggnog, you have to like eggnog. Not everybody likes eggnog.
It's true.
But, but if you do, this is like to die for. But I have to tell you, because I make it myself, there have to be at least 1 million calories in an ounce of this stuff. I mean, it is so good, but it's exactly what you said, Allie.
Yeah.
You really have to sort of ration it, and that idea. My husband, Dr. Gary Gorman, has worked with a variety of dietitians over the years, and he started many years ago. Even when he, like if he'll socialize and he'll have a beer and in between have a glass of water, or a mixed drink, and he'll always say to them, "Can you also bring a glass of water?" Because that is really important to do, and very helpful to kind of keeping everything at under wraps,
absolutely.
And not going too crazy, because otherwise it is easy to say, well, I'll just have 3 glasses of eggnog, and don't do that.
Well, you also brought up a good point, maybe having a splash of eggnog and having the rest like low-fat milk, like 1% milk, so you still get the flavor of the eggnog without having it be so calorie dense.
Exactly.
So that could be one little trick that you do.
Okay, good enough.
So that's the beverages point, and just make a point to kind of be mindful of how much you're drinking.
Well, and I think sometimes we do forget, even with, wines and beers and, all this other stuff, and we do forget that they do have calories.
Yeah.
And sugar. That's the other thing, for diabetics. I mean, you have to be really, really careful of that. Just, again, be mindful of what you're putting in your mouth, whether it's food or drink. But for sure.
And if you're drinking juices, if you're diabetic as well, if something mixed with juice, a lot of that can add up.
But some flavored water, and now I noticed even at the restaurants, a lot of times if we say, can we just have waters for everyone? Sure. Would you like lemon with it? And it's, in the old days they would never ask that. They would just get, now it's like, oh yes, that sounds kind of nice.
That you mention it.
Well, because I think it just makes it feel a little fancier, and it gives it a little bit of flavor, and it's makes it a little more festive for the holidays.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely. You could do like a little cranberry garnish.
I was just going to say, throw some cranberry, throw some red if you have a strawberry or whatever, just something to give it a little color.
Yep,
sure.
Absolutely.
All right.
So I think that's important to talk about, first of all, but now we can move to the appetizers.
Okay, but before we move to the appetizers, because I'm looking at my clock, and this is such a great transition for the song that I chose for you, Eliana. So it is 7:29. You're listening to WSKB 89.5 FM radio for the Westfield Masses. So before we get into the appetizers, as we're finishing up with the drinks, and we were just talking about eggnog, so we're going to this is like one of my favorite groups, is Straight No Chaser. It's an a cappella group, and the song is Who Spiked the Eggnog.
Oh my God,
we're going to play that.
My friends were all in town. We were singing Christmas carols as the snow was falling down. And I don't know for certain how it happened or who's to blame, but someone at that party ought to be ashamed. Tell me who spiked the eggnog? I know the culprit's here. Who brought the booze to the Christmas party this year? Tell me who spiked the eggnog? It smells like rum in here. Who snuck it in? We're gonna feel it tomorrow, I fear. The first round went down easy, the second one nice and smooth. By the third, my head was spinning around, and that's when I got the clue. So tell me who spiked the eggnog? Come on and show your face. Who brought the sauce? Look out, I'm on the case.
Hey, was it Randy?
With a flask of brandy?
DR?
He was by the bar.
What about Ron?
He was all alone. Hey, I saw Dan with a bottle in his hand. Tell me who spiked the eggnog? They've all got guilty eyes. Who's got the grog? It's gotta be one of these guys. Chuck and said you were sneaking around. Mike looked guilty to me. Tyler's curled up on the couch.
Might have been Wall.
Could have been Wall. Probably was Wall. Must have been Wall.
Hey, don't look at me. I just got here.
Tell me who spiked the eggnog? I know the culprit is here. Who's been hiding the hooch at the Christmas party this year? Tell me who spiked the eggnog? Tell me who could it be? It's pretty good stuff. Who knows? It could have been me.
Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by the Barnes and Noble College Bookstore in the Ely Campus Center, offering Westfield State t-shirts, sweatshirts, and gift merchandise, all of your academic needs, and offering textbook materials in new, used, ebook, and rental formats. Available at the bookstore on campus or online at westfieldstate.bncollege.com.
It's Tuesday morning from 6 till 8. Wow, it's Tuesday with Bob Plass.
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB.
Live from Studio 120 at Westfield Technical Academy, this is WCPC Channel 15 and 89.5 FM, WSKB Westfield.
Good morning, Westfield. It is 7:32. You're listening to WSKB 89.5 FM radio for the Westfield masses. My name is Tina Gorman. I'm your Wake Up Wednesday host, and my guest this morning is Eliana Lakritz, a clinical dietitian with Bay State Noble Hospital. Welcome back.
Thank you.
So before we get into, we've covered holiday drinks and drinking, but Pete, what were you busy unwrapping over there?
Delivery of equipment.
It's like Christmas for you, Pete.
Well, sort of. We're trying to fill in gaps now.
Yes,
that we've identified as the program started. So I had a big box of headphones.
Oh, that's what came in.
Yeah.
All right. So listen, now that we have Eliana, we have to, before we get into appetizers, holiday appetizers, Pete and I were having this discussion as you were coming in earlier on, what is it called, Pete? A sous
vide.
Oh, yeah. My fiance wants one of those.
Well,
I have one.
Pete has one. Have you ever used one, Eliana?
I haven't. Well, actually, yes, I have when I used to work at a senior living residence.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, they did a lot of that.
Yeah. Pete said Pete's really having fun with it.
So I've cooked chicken breast and a rump roast, a big one, like a 4-pound rump roast. And I cooked it for about 27 hours.
Do you have a vacuum sealer?
Not yet.
Okay, so that's probably something you'll want to get.
Not yet, yeah. Well, I mean, it came out really good without it. So freezer bags work really, really well. Just brand name freezer bags.
All right.
And I don't like super medium, so I cooked it like medium well at 145 degrees. But 27 hours, it was fork tender at 27 hours.
27 hours.
Yeah, so start the day before. You got to really plan for these things.
Ooh.
Yeah.
But it was really, really good. You throw a sear on it at the end in a cast iron pan, and it was awesome.
Yeah.
Same stuff they use for pot roast, but pot roast is really stringy. I don't really like pot roast. This was like eating filet mignon, honestly, because it was that tender.
All right.
I was like, cool.
There it is.
Yeah.
All right.
Awesome.
So so we've been schooled.
You cook veggies.
We've been schooled on this.
You can steep you can flavor alcohols.
So my question though is, what is the benefit of the vacuum sealer? Like, what is that? Why would you?
Because it keeps everything in place.
Oh,
and also keeps the juices all inside the meat instead of they kind of drip out a little bit.
Yeah.
When you don't have a vacuum sealer.
Yeah. All right.
Plus, it gives the whole surface of the meat constant exposure to the water.
Okay. All right.
There's no air gaps.
Okay. So
but either way, I mean, it was fine with me. Yeah.
Maybe cook faster too.
Slightly. Yeah. Slightly. Yep. I think it's great. I mean, for me, instead of having a crock pot running all day, I have this. It's a little bit more controlled. If something happens, it's only a little water. It'll short out and trip the breaker, that kind of thing.
Yeah. See, I put an Instapot on my registry because I don't have 27 hours.
Now, what is an
those are faster.
What is an Instapot?
It's like almost like a pressure cooker.
Okay.
But without the pressure.
You can sear in it.
You can saute. You can make yogurt in it.
Really?
The one I put on my registry actually has an air fryer option.
Oh, I've seen those on TV. I've seen them advertised on television.
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought it was kind of neat.
Yeah. All right. And you told me last month about the dehydrator.
Has one of those in there too, I think.
It does. Yeah. I'm on that one. All right. So we've talked a little bit about holiday drinks. We've talked about eggnog.
Yep.
And we've talked about just some other, kind of making sure that you're drinking water in between so that you're not consuming all those calories, but also staying hydrated.
Yes.
So now let's move on to, you started to talk about appetizers.
Yes.
So let's talk about the holiday appetizers.
Yeah, super important. I think this is probably the biggest time in the meal where people tend to overeat.
Okay.
Because this is when you first get there, the appetizers are out, you're catching up with your family and friends, and a lot of times it's very just easy to mindlessly nosh on things that are on the table in your face. Everybody else is doing it. So if you think about like the cheeses, sometimes there's like a vegetable dish. Sometimes there's like pastry bites or I don't know what you have.
There's like a zillion shrimp cocktail.
Mini hot dogs.
As you were speaking, Eliana, I was thinking to myself, well, first of all, a lot of times you're absolutely right. When you first get there, for one thing, you're usually hungry.
Yeah.
So that's part of the problem and the other thing is, I think you're right. You're so busy socializing and, I haven't seen you, that you may very well be eating and not even thinking about the fact that you're putting food in your mouth while you're talking to somebody.
Absolutely.
I think that we do that without realizing it.
We definitely do. And you just made me remember one thing I wanted to say. Make sure you eat before you come.
There it is.
Have breakfast, because if you deprive yourself the whole day and it's 5 o'clock or 3 o'clock, you're going to be overeating like crazy.
And I think that is one of the biggest mistakes. And I've had other dietitians that have said the exact same thing. People make that mistake. And what they do is they say, I don't want to eat anything because I know I'm going to have all this food when I get there. And the problem is that's exactly what happens. You have all that food when you get there because you're just glomming food down because now you're starving. As you said, it might be late in the afternoon. You haven't eaten anything all day long.
So that's a very, very common pitfall. I think that happens. So when you set up to the appetizer table, maybe make yourself a small plate of, veggies and hummus or whatever your favorite dip is, a few little cheese cubes. But the trick is just to have that one plate and stick to it and eat off of that while you're socializing.
Yes.
And that way you don't fill up on the appetizers that you can have anywhere.
Right.
This is your holiday meal where you only get this one meal once or twice a year.
Yep.
Versus how often do you have cheese and crackers throughout the year?
Yeah, exactly. You could have those every day if you want to have those. Yeah, absolutely.
Right. So it seems silly now that we're thinking about it to be filling up on these things. Right. You really want to be saving yourself for maybe the green beans or some dish that you only make.
Yeah, whatever the main dish is.
That your grandma only makes once a year.
Yeah, especially if it's like an ethnic dish. Something that, that it is special because your grandmother or, somebody, your great aunt makes it, once a year. But I think the other thing too is, as you were saying, have your plate. So you're not standing by the chips and dip and just, reaching out and doing that because it's really easy to do that.
Certainly is.
When you're hungry just by habit, it's crunchy, it's salty, it tastes good, and before you know it, you just consumed a half a bag of chips and dip or whatever. So the lessons here are: have something to eat before you go. Make sure that you're eating your breakfast and maybe just some smaller portions, and then to get a plate. That's your thing. Get your plate. Go through. My thing would be, go around the room, make sure you see what all your options are. So don't dive into the cheese and crackers if there's maybe something else, because that's what you don't want to do is fill up on cheese and crackers and then say, I didn't know you had shrimp cocktail. I don't get that very often. Now you want to pig out on shrimp cocktail. So go around, see what all your choices are, and then do your plate.
Pick your favorite.
Yeah, pick your favorites.
You go for the vegetables too.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay.
That's one.
Those are some tips for your appetizer, getting through the appetizers.
Yes. I think it's very easy to overindulge on that one.
Yeah, it absolutely is.
And then for the main meal, this is another piece that's important. Look at what's available, because a lot of times there's things you might not want. There's things you can probably do without. But, your portion sizes are important here. Okay. So instead of taking half a plate of mashed potatoes, maybe choose a few vegetable options here, and maybe one starch or a half a serving of each starch. So half a serving of mashed potatoes, half a serving of stuffing.
Okay.
And then your vegetables. So like your green beans, if you have the carrots, really maybe fill up half a plate with those. And then the turkey, of course. And then do maybe a little bit of gravy, and don't go overboard on the gravy boat there.
Yeah.
So, that's just one thing that you could do for the main meal.
A lot of stuff. When you really think about it, Eliana, a lot of the holiday stuff, it's just moderation.
Yeah.
It's just eating in moderation. And I think, one of the things that we all have a tendency to do, because we don't typically make a big turkey with gravy and stuffing and mashed potatoes, every other week at our houses. And so if that's something that you particularly enjoy, you have this tendency to say, I'm not going to get this again until next Thanksgiving. So, I really need to fill up. But you really have to be mindful of that, because, in the end, too, you're just going to be more uncomfortable.
Yeah.
There's really no joy in overeating and then feeling like,
that guilty, heavy feeling.
Yeah. And it's just like, I don't feel great now, and
I think the other thing to be said too is but considering maybe bringing a healthy alternative to what you might normally bring. So instead of like the green bean casserole, maybe doing green beans with sliced almonds and cranberries or something like that. That's a little bit lighter and doesn't feel like you don't feel obligated to take a large portion.
That's really interesting because that is one of my go-tos is green beans with almonds.
Oh, really?
And I actually like smoked almonds. But I never thought of the cranberries thrown in there. That sounds really good.
Well, if you think about what it might look like, you have the green and the red, so it's kind of festive.
I know, I like that. It's really a great idea.
Yeah, it's in season, so you don't have to worry about the cost.
Yep.
But that could be one easy option.
Yep.
A lot of times, too, for the recipes that you're looking up, you can usually swap out like the cream for like a 2% or 1% milk, which does take down some of the calories. Excuse me. And maybe instead of doing like biscuits, you could do something like a whole wheat pita sliced up.
Yeah.
For dips.
Sure, absolutely. And I think too, a couple of years ago I was preparing for Christmas dinner, and I had two of my family members who have diabetes that were going to be there. And so I went on, several websites, and the American Diabetic Association has a website, and, there are just tons and tons of recipes. And what I found was that if you look up some of those recipes, they're not only great for somebody with diabetes, but they're just great for all of us.
Yeah.
So, I started making some of those recipes, and, people are like, wow, this is really good. Where'd you get the recipe? I said, well, on the American Diabetic Association website.
Yeah, there you go.
It's like, who knew? But, because you're using different spices, to avoid the sugars and so forth. But, it's like all of a sudden it's some different flavor that we haven't had. It's like, wow, this is really good. So I think the healthy alternative piece is really important. And I know even when I've brought things to like my sisters-in-law, if they're preparing the meal, and I'll say, well, I'll make a side dish that I know, everybody can eat, everybody with, diabetes or whatever. Yeah. Everybody with dietary restrictions.
Yeah.
But again, I want to make it so that it's going to be tasty for everybody. Not like, well, this is the diabetic, side dish. So I don't want to have that, but there are just so many different options and so many, we were just talking before about cooking options, just, different things to cook things in, we're talking about the, what's it called? The Instapot?
The Instapot, yeah.
Yeah, but, so many other things as well that we didn't really have options for before. Crock pots. Yeah, absolutely.
Soups.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think people get very shy away from changing a recipe, and that doesn't have to be the case.
Yeah.
A lot of people do that.
Absolutely.
So don't feel like you can't replace regular kielbasa with like a chicken sausage.
Sure.
Or doing instead of using regular, whole Parmesan or mozzarella part skim.
Yeah, just use part skim. Same thing even with drinks. One of my favorite drinks is a White Russian, but it's so funny because I think you're actually supposed to make it with half and half or whatever you're supposed to use. I make it with skim milk. Essentially it's like zero fat milk.
Yeah.
And so, and I've made it that way for so long that when I order, I rarely order it out because I know they use the cream, but it tastes so different to me when I order it out. It's like, oh, this is way heavier than what I'm used to. I'm just used to much lighter drink, but it's the same flavor of, the alcohols that I really enjoy. So yeah, there are absolutely ways to modify, what you're doing. And usually my rule for a recipe is I'll follow the recipe exactly the first time I make it. And then I just switch it around. And it's, if we like a little bit, we like to add some nuts to it, or we want to take this out or whatever. And that's the fun of cooking, I think, is to be able to,
to experiment and play around with things.
And to be versatile. So, all right, it is 7:45. You're listening to WSKB 89.5 FM radio for the Westfield masses. We're going to listen to Surfin' Safari by the Beach Boys. This is in honor of the birthday of the late Dennis Wilson. We will be back.
If everybody had an ocean across the USA, then everybody'd be surfing like California. You'd see them wearing their baggies, Warachi sandals too, a bushy blonde hairdo, surfing USA. You'll catch them surfing at Nell, Ventura County.
USA. Yeah, everybody's got serving USA.
Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by Comcast and Xfinity.com, offering Xfinity TV, Internet, home phone, and home security services. Information on all that Xfinity has to offer in the Westfield area is available online at Xfinity.com. Underwriting for Community Radio on WSKB is brought to you in part by Rockies. Over 30 convenient locations throughout Massachusetts, Rhode Island, New Hampshire, Connecticut, and Florida. One of the nation's largest ACE dealers. Expertise and great product selection in paint, hardware, lawn and garden. That's Rockies. Rock solid service since 1926. On the web at Rockies.com.
It's Tuesday morning from 6 till 8. Wow, it's Tuesday with Bob Plass.
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB. Live from Studio 120 at Westfield Technical Academy, this is WCPC Channel 15 and 89.5 FM, WSKB Westfield.
Good morning, Westfield. It is 7:49. You're listening to WSKB 89.5 FM radio for the Westfield masses. It is Wednesday, December 4th. We are in between Thanksgiving and Christmas and New Year's. So we have a lot of holiday celebrating and a lot of holiday eating and drinking between now and New Year's. My guest this morning is Eliana Lakritz, clinical dietitian with Bay State Noble Hospital. So welcome again, Eliana.
Thank you.
So we are, so we've now made it through appetizers. We've kind of come up with we've actually made it through beverages. We've talked about some ideas for that. Appetizers, the main course. And, it's that topic that we all, around the holidays, it's dessert. So how in the world can we sort of navigate through the dessert stuff?
Yes.
What are some ideas?
So if your family is like mine, there's usually like 8 pies.
Yes, exactly.
Several apple pies, maybe 2 pumpkin pies, a pecan pie, ice cream. Somebody will make brownies.
Oh, yeah, brownies.
Or something like that.
And then we've got Christmas cookies.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes a cookie swap.
Yes.
I know.
Oh, yeah.
I have people that do that. So, you really have to pick which ones you really need to have. You don't want to have a slice of everything because you'll feel like not very good.
Yeah.
So, if you really love pumpkin pie and you don't have it every year, throughout the rest of the year, maybe that's the one that you go for. Or maybe there's like 2 or 3 that you need to have. Maybe sharing it. First of all, you certainly can share it. Maybe that's completely off the table for you, literally.
Yeah.
Maybe that's not something you'll do. Maybe just taking a small sliver of each one.
Yep.
And enjoying them.
Exactly.
And that way you don't feel so guilty when you've had a regular slice of 3 pies or, 3 cookies and a slice of pie.
Yep.
Especially because most people, I can speak for myself, but I feel like most people are really full by the time dessert comes around.
Right, that's exactly it. We've kind of, I know in our family, one of the things that we've talked about with when we do sort of the potluck where everybody's bringing stuff, we've really cut way back on the dessert stuff because everybody's so full. A lot of times the dessert comes out, people are like, oh my gosh, I can't eat anymore, and you don't want people to be forcing it. So maybe just a choice of, 2 or 3 things as opposed to 8 things, which is, sometimes what you get. I
think that's smart. And maybe taking it home and having it the next day or something.
Or having it later on in the evening, especially if it's an earlier dinner, if you've eaten it like, say, 3 in the afternoon, 2 or 3 in the afternoon. And I've done that. It's like, listen, I'm going to just put this on a paper plate and, wrap it up with saran wrap. And I'll have this, in a few hours when I can really enjoy it, when my meal is digested and, and I've let everything settle down a little bit. Yeah.
It's needed, I think.
Absolutely.
So, I think there's something to be said for just, if you really want it and it's a holiday, it's a special occasion, have it.
Yep.
Do not deprive yourself of that.
Right. But just, again, we're back to where we started, which is everything in moderation.
Yeah.
And, I mean, lots of times we like to put a little dollop of whipped cream on things. But again, in moderation.
Yeah.
Put a little spritz of it, not, a half of container of, whipped cream on top of things, because it's all of those extra things that can really add up.
Yeah.
And also fill you up, I think, right?
Yeah, absolutely does.
Yeah.
If you feel like every year you're wasting all these desserts or nobody's really eating it, I think it is a good idea, like your family, to cut down how much of it you're actually preparing.
Yeah, we've just really, said, like, listen, we only need, you can give us specific numbers. Like, we only need 3 desserts. We don't need a zillion, unless everybody's going to take stuff home, because, otherwise, because the other thing is that whoever's hosting doesn't want to end up with 10 different desserts.
I was just about to mention that.
Yeah. That's, I know my sisters-in-law, when we all kind of rotate houses, and they're like, we're not going to eat all this stuff.
Yeah.
I don't want to be eating, 10 different desserts.
And then it goes from one day of the year to you have this whole pie or several pies to be finishing for days and days and days.
Yep, exactly.
And that's when it really can start to add up on you, and you can see that weight gain throughout the holidays because you have so many high calorie leftovers you feel they need to finish.
Yep.
Send people home with little doggy bags.
Little care packages. Yep.
Put it in the freezer.
Yep.
Even for the next...
Christmas cookies will keep very well in the freezer. Yeah. I can remember taking them out, like 3 months later, and my husband saying, what are those? I said, Christmas cookies. Really? And, they're kind of a treat when you take them out in March or even in February. It's a snowy, crummy day, and it's like, ooh, let's, we could do that. Hey, Pete, my mic is back and forth. So just check it and make sure nothing. There it is. I think it got pulled
It's fine in here. So you might be a little disconnected on your headphone jack there.
Okay. All right. I think I'm good.
Yeah, it's fine here.
All right. Sounds good.
Maybe the batteries are dying in your headphones.
Oh, I never thought about that. I've been using
you have
these
batteries, right? Yeah.
I have no idea. I've never changed the batteries in them, and I've been using them for every day that I've been on this show.
Oh, maybe not. Okay.
5.5 years.
All right. Yeah, no, it sounded fine here. It never went anywhere.
Okay.
So.
All right. Sounds good. All right. So, any other final words of wisdom for us for holiday eating?
Well, I have a story I thought was really funny.
Great. Do tell.
My fiance's cousin, I always go to my fiance's family's Christmas.
Okay.
And he won't eat a vegetable. Like, he will not eat any vegetable, maybe corn on the cob in the summer. That's about it. And I had it in me to make him eat vegetables.
There you go.
So I made mashed cauliflower.
Okay.
Which you just steam the cauliflower and you get it nice and soft. You mash it up or you food process it, and I added skim milk, I added garlic, I added a little bit of Parmesan, and I served it, and he ate it and he liked it because he didn't know what it was.
I know. What did you think? I was just going to say the same thing. What did you disguise it? What did he think it was? Or what did you?
He just thought it was mashed potatoes.
Oh, gotcha.
I just served it.
And he's okay with potatoes. He would eat.
He'll eat potato. He'll eat any kind of like starchy.
Okay. So starch
vegetable.
is okay.
Yeah, but he didn't know.
Yeah.
So I served it and I didn't say anything and I didn't tell anybody. And he had a big old scoop on his plate. And he ate it. I'm like, do you like it, Cole? And he goes, yeah, it's really good. It's really garlicky and tastes good. Did you make it? I said, yeah. He goes, cool. I said, it's cauliflower. And he's like, I don't want any more. Exactly. And he pushed its plate away.
Yep. It's so funny though. A lot of it is our, our perception of what things are. And I can remember my younger brother was the same thing. So my mother would make zucchini bread, but we would call it nut bread. And as long as we called it nut bread, he didn't really notice like the shredded zucchini in there. And it was just nut bread and it was delicious and he loved it. And it's so often, people are like that. If you don't really know and it tastes good, there it is. But, as soon as I know it's something that I've decided I don't like. And the other thing, too, I've had this discussion with my 28-year-old, and that is, things that you didn't like when you were younger, if you haven't had them in a long time, try them because your taste buds change.
Oh,
as
totally.
you age, you kind of mature with your eating as you age typically. And I know Grace eats a lot of things now that she didn't care for when she was a child. But and sometimes I'm even surprised. Oh, I didn't realize that. She's steaming broccoli and all this other. And I thought, wow, not a broccoli kid. But I wasn't either as a kid, and I love it now. I love it raw in salads. But a lot of things. So your tastes change, and I think also as you age, you probably need a little bit more seasoning because your taste buds change as you
absolutely.
age too. We've talked about that on the show. So I want to thank you, Eliana, for coming on and giving us some holiday tips, because that was great. Some good things for us to think about. I also want to just take the last 2 minutes of the show. I do want to shout out and thank those volunteers who helped us out on Thanksgiving morning, because we did deliver over 100 meals to mostly our homebound seniors, but some who were just going to be alone for Thanksgiving. So I'm hoping I'm not going to leave anybody out. So I had Armand and Melanie Brochu, who went down to the Knights of Columbus in Chicopee and picked up all of the meals, and it was a bit of a fiasco this year. So thanks to Armand and Melanie for doing that. It was kind of more time consuming than usual. And then we had 5 teams of deliverers. We had Ray Rivera, who's on the Municipal Light Board, and his family, and they've been delivering meals for us for at least 5 years now. So thank you to the Rivera family. Patrick and Mimi Berry. Patrick is former owner of the Westfield News and currently one of the facilitators for the Gaslight Entertainment with JPEG Lucas. So thanks to Patrick and Mimi. Karen Casey and Barbara Rogers. Karen works for the Housing Authority, the Westfield Housing Authority. And I think this is the 3rd year that Karen has helped us out, and her friend Barbara. My husband, Gary Gorman, and our good friend, John Goda. And John actually missed Thanksgiving with his girlfriend's family because it took longer to deliver the meals than we thought. And he told them, he said, I may be there. It was in Rhode Island. He said, I may be there, I may not. He said, if I'm finished, I'll come down, but he didn't finish in time. So thank you, John. And Nick and Jake Noblet, the sons of Karen Noblet, our senior benefits coordinator. And poor Nick and Jake, because they are the sons of Karen, and Karen is the one who does the routes. They are always the ones stuck going the farthest out of the city, outside to the outer edges of the city to do their meal delivery. So, thanks to all of them, because they take up their Thanksgiving morning to help us out, and I know that the seniors appreciate it. So it is 8:00 exactly. Next week I have Joe Rouse with me from the health department, and Joe usually has a whole long laundry list of things that we're going to talk about. And then in 2 weeks, we have our resident primary care physician, Dr. Akinyele Lovelace, will be back. And we're going to have Roxanne Cotton, who's working with a program, and they do dialysis, among other things. So we have some things to talk about then. So remember, this weekend, Pearl Harbor Day is Saturday, with lots of things going on around the city. Enjoy, stay safe, and remember that there's a lot of black ice out there, so just be careful. Have a good one. And Eliana, happy holidays.
Thank you. You as well.
All righty.
Support for the community programming of WSKB is provided by Bay State Dental. Comprehensive dentistry at 14 convenient locations in Springfield, Chicopee, Longmeadow, West Springfield, Belchertown, East Longmeadow, Ludlow, Northampton, Greenfield, and Wilbraham, as well as 29 Broad Street in Westfield. Bay State Dental makes it a priority to help you achieve and maintain the healthy smile you deserve. On the web at baystatedental.com.
It's Tuesday morning from 6 till 8. Wow, it's Tuesday with Bob Plass.
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB. Live from Studio 120 at Westfield Technical Academy, this is WCPC Channel 15 and 89.5 FM WSKB Westfield.
Hey, good morning, everybody. That was the theme from the original version of Dallas. And
yeah, that was the good version.
The cliffhanger of the century. Who shot JR?
All I remember is that sweeping helicopter shot going up the driveway.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember watching that. My parents were big into that show, and
everybody was big into that show.
Yeah, that was like